Usually whenever you come back from vacation, you like to take some time to unwind, like a day or two. But no, not me. No, I like to torture myself with a whole season or 4 hours of a show that I don't even like. If you can't tell, I'm being sarcastic because honestly, I don't like to make these kind of reviews. They are, however, the more popular reviews, and this goes for any channel. And it's for good reason, too. If you don't like something, you usually have more to say about it than this is a good show or this show is really funny or whatever else you might say. Another reason to the popularity of these certain types of reviews are because of rants. Ranting is getting angry over something, and anger makes for good entertainment as well as comedy, which is something I don't want to be known for. I don't want to be the guy that gets angry over cartoons number 442. I want to be able to analyze exactly why this doesn't work rather than just flailing my arm like some sort of puppet. So, with all that said, today I'll be reviewing a animated spin-off of a bad sitcom, which is a rehash of another bad sitcom, which is a spin-off of two okay sitcoms, which are both rehashes of a pretty good sitcom. Oh my god, that's really long. And with each new sitcom, spin-off or rehash, has cut the last one's quality in half. Because Henry Danger is an eighth of what Drake and Josh was. I guess I should go over some history. Drake and Josh is, or was, my favorite sitcom, and is one that I can still watch and get a laugh at. The show was just clever and simple. Drake and Josh was about teen stepbrothers having to start their lives under the same roof, who were both very foreign of each other's character, which is relatable. However, this show was able to start at a sort of familiar location and exaggerate things. What I mean is, having a stepbrother is something that could actually happen in real life. It was something that kids could and can actually relate with. But whenever you compare it to the other Snyder's Bakery shows, they don't really have the same realistic base and aren't able to bounce the weird and wackiness off of that. These are weird worlds where weird things happen. I don't get that same over-exaggerated feel from these shows because it's more expected. You expect Spencer to make something weird. You don't expect Josh to take his room and make Candyland come to life. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, Henry Danger is a show that I watched the first episode the day that it aired. And I didn't like it. I can't remember exactly why. The only thing I remember is thinking Captain Man is one of the most generic superhero names I've ever heard. But we'll get to that. So, obviously, the show became popular enough to warrant a spin-off, an animated spin-off, which is a problem regardless of the original show. I mean, when has taking something live action and changing it to animation ever been a good idea? This concept is the exact opposite of taking animated characters and making them live action. And both of those are very bad ideas, especially if you have the same people running the shows. Kid Danger is Snyder's Bakery's first ever animated series. And whereas, yes, it is still for kids, animation and sitcoms are two far different things. You can easily tell this through the writing and the voice acting that these people haven't really worked in the medium. Remember what I said about our cartoon president? Well, it applies here as well. I am thoroughly convinced that this show came from Dan's limitation. He wanted to do certain plots that he wouldn't be able to do in live action, like turn one of his characters into half of an octopus. Okay? Which is one of those ideas that only sounds good on paper. Could this show have been good? Yes, but not with Dan Schneider running it, who doesn't know anything about animation. So now, on to the problems with the voice acting. Let me explain this because it would seem like an easy transition, but no. Ignoring things like direction, these actors aren't voice actors. There is a big spectrum in between voice acting and regular acting. It's like having a magician act as a clown just because they both do magic tricks. There are different movements and voice tones between them. The actors are used to acting on camera, not just being confined in a room with a script. So I can't fully blame the actors, but I can say that they suck hard. Ray sounds very generic, and Henry sounds like he needs a lozenge. The only person I can say actually seems like they are trying is Charlotte, which, by the way, I feel very bad for. Now, I don't know if she is the Meg in the original show or not, but she definitely is here. She is constantly being abused for absolutely no reason. Henry calls her his friend in one episode, and I'm just like, really? I'm honestly confused as to why Charlotte even stays around them. Does she have a crush on Henry or something that I'm missing? Honestly, she'd be better off with no friends than friends like Henry, Ray, and Schwoz. I do have one good thing to say about the show, however. In the episode Trouble in Tropkini, there is a funny joke with napkins. But also in that episode, there were people who worshipped feet and horny AF witches. So, yeah. I've seen a lot of people talking about fetishes and Totally Spies, whereas this show doesn't have as much. They are still there. Instead of looking at that episode, because it's too easy, let's take a look at another episode. Today we'll be looking at Texas Wieners. Yeah, that sounds really bad out of context, but basically it's a chili dog. And spoiler alert, there are no chili dogs or quote-unquote Texas Wieners within the episode. Just plain old hot dogs, which is confusing. It might be because this episode is perverted as fuck. The term hot dogs, or even just dogs, is never used in this episode. The only term to explain what they are eating is wieners. The episode starts out with Kid Danger and Captain Man being hit with beanbags at a kid's birthday party. The reason they are there is because the kid's dad is going to give them $80,000 for being there. Only Henry, or Kid Danger, had no clue about this and is kind of peeved, but this only lasts in one sentence. Because this episode could be similar to Born Again Crabs. But instead of that, the real plot starts when the birthday boy sneezes out a hot dog onto Kid Danger's boots. Basically, he is upset because his favorite hot dogs aren't there. Texas Wieners. Anyway, so I don't have to talk about them further. This episode has a lot of references that kids wouldn't be able to understand, so I don't know who that's for exactly. Henry and Ray go on a cross-the-border trip for $4,000. Yeah, these characters are really that shallow. After Ray recklessly drives, and this has no consequences, they radio up Schwoz and Charlotte, who are in Schwoz's van that has a DeviantArt drawing on it. Out of the gate, Charlotte is tortured with a pig that doesn't even need to be there. I'll just talk about this before it gets distracting. So, Charlotte's plot is that this pig tries to eat her limbs the whole episode, and Schwoz acts like this is some sort of inconvenience to him rather than actually doing something about his pet. Charlotte's arm gets eaten off, and then Henry sticks a hot dog into the wound as a replacement arm, and we end the episode with everyone laughing at Charlotte for missing an arm. Comedy fucking gold. Back to our normal plot, Ray, for some reason, throws a hammer out of the car, which gets stuck in Schwaz's eye. They make it to the Texas Wiener shack to end up getting 1,000 wieners. They don't actually pay for them, though. They just wait until the salesman is distracted and leaves. The salesman is distracted by a cop. This cop is a joke that has been done over and over again. Basically, he's fat, country, and a cop. And that is really wimpy. And regardless on if you think that Paul Blart here is funny, whenever he gets back into the car, you'll see my biggest problem with this episode. His son says, quote unquote, other daddy, which implies this cop is gay, which it's fine on its own until you put it into context. This family is supposed to be made fun of as being hicky as possible. Hick families are usually associated with lower class, poor, weird, or sometimes even incest. The message I'm getting is the writers of this episode are trying to say a gay relationship is like having a relationship with your goat. Maybe I'm looking into this too much, and I know I'm not explaining myself exactly right. The words I want to use aren't coming out right, but I digress. Anyway, this Paul Blart looking mofo is an asshole as well. His son needs medicine because of some sort of weird medical condition that makes him foam out of his mouth, but no, the dad would rather pull over a truck just to buy 2 wieners off of them. Then we get a chase scene with the cops chasing the Man's Am, which is Captain Man's car, instead of Schwaz's, despite the fact that isn't where the hot dogs are. All of the cars make a jump over a ledge that wasn't there before. All the wieners fly out of the truck, and the birthday boy pretends like they are leaves. I don't know. With all of the Dan Schneider stuff going on, 1 season will probably be it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I know this video took much longer than my most recent reviews, but as I said, I went on vacation, but regardless of that, I still hope you guys enjoyed my review.